Hello, everybody. I am Dana. This here is Gia Marie. She is 5 days old, 5 days young. And if I look tired, do I look tired? Yeah, I look tired. It's because I got 2 toddlers and a newborn. So life is good. Life is beautiful. I feel so blessed. And I wanted to do a little YouTube video to document information for my third unmedicated labor and delivery experience. So when I was when I was pregnant the first time and I knew I wanted to go for an unmedicated labor and delivery, it was really helpful for me to listen to positive, unmedicated labor and delivery stories. So that is my goal with sharing mine. So hopefully somebody or a lot of somebodies will listen to this and get some positive feedback about the whole experience and maybe realize that this is something that you can also do if it's what you want to do. Because I find, and hopefully you'll have the same mindset, if someone else can do it, so can I, right? There's no reason why I can't do something. My body was made for this, and it was just a complete mantra inside my head the entire time. And so I've been super blessed, and I've been able to do 3 unmedicated labor and deliveries now, my third just 5 days ago. So let's get into it. So my first baby, Sky, she was late. All 3 of my babies were late, but Sky came at 42 weeks. Frankie came at 40 weeks plus 3, and Gia decided to make her debut at 40 weeks plus 2 days. So all full-term babies, healthy. So we went into it. I wasn't sure. I was expecting to go late. A lot of people thought I would go early this time around, but I could feel it that I would still go late. I worked out the entire pregnancy, and I just figured my muscles and my body would just not allow me to go early. And that's fine with me. I felt good. I've been very blessed with feeling good in my pregnancies. So we went in, her due date was July 2nd. And from the jump, my husband and I were thinking, oh, we're going to have a 4th of July baby. So we put it out into the universe, and that's exactly what we got. She came at 11:57 p.m. with 3 minutes to spare on July 4th. So let's get into it. So I work full-time in sales in the construction world. I also am a certified fitness trainer for the last 14 or so years. I don't even know what this, like between 13 and 15 years. Certified pre and postnatal trainer, HIT certified, amongst other things, in the middle of some nutrition stuff too. So I worked right up to, I was working that day. It was a Thursday. So my due date was Wednesday, July 2nd. Was working, felt perfectly fine. Saw my midwife that morning, all good. I was like 1 centimeter dilated. So I was like, all right, we still got time to go. And then Thursday, dropped my 3 and my 1-year-old, they're about to be 4 and 2, off at daycare. And I'd stopped at a Wawa, if you're familiar, if you're from the Northeast. It's like a convenience store, a glorified convenience store, to go pee because, I'm 40 weeks pregnant. I pee every 10 seconds. And I went in and I lost my mucus plug. So I was like, okay, we might get started with labor today, unsure. So instead of being on the road all day, I was like, you know what, maybe I should just work from home today. So by like 10:30 a.m., I found myself back at home, and I passed some more mucus plug, and I started to get like really faint contractions. But having done this 2 other times, I knew it wasn't anything crazy just yet. So my mother-in-law, we invited my mother-in-law to be in the room with us this time, because with my first, she was a COVID baby, so only my husband was allowed in the room. And then with my second baby, we asked my mom to be in the room with us. And so my mother-in-law, she lives about 2 hours away. So she came, was it that night? Yeah, she came down Thursday night just in case after work. Oh, excuse you. She wanted to say hello. Hello. She came down, so she was here just in case, because the next day was July 4th. And so everybody had off work anyway. So It was nice to be able to sleep in our bed and get a good night's rest. We took a little break to eat. Not me, her. So then Friday was 4th of July. And so my mom and dad picked up Sky and Frankie to take them to a 4th of July parade, a local 4th of July parade. They did that. And then we went back at my parents' house to just grill out, hang in the pool. I didn't go in the pool because my mucus plug, I lost that. So I didn't want to chance getting the baby sick or whatever. And the whole time we were there, I wasn't timing my contractions when we were outside, but they were definitely getting more intense. And then when we went inside to take a rest, my husband was finally like, would you like time these things, please? Because they seem to me like they're getting more intense for you. And they were lasting about 45 seconds every 5 to 6 minutes. So he was like, I really want to go into the hospital to get you checked out. So I was like, all right, let's go. I knew I wasn't in active labor. I know what that feels like. Woo, it's a little different. But we go into the hospital, taking a triage. It's only like 25-minute drive with no traffic. And I got checked. I was only like 2 centimeters at that point. And they were like, well, you can stay. Oh, tell me what? You can stay and we'll check again in another 2 hours, or you can leave and come back, or we can do I don't even know what they called it, some sort of drug-induced rest or whatever. I was like, not doing that. And so I was like, I'd rather just go back to my parents' house, honestly. So that's what we did. We left the hospital, went back to my parents' house, got the kids, went on a long walk, was still getting contractions. They definitely were getting more intense. And so I'm stubborn, whatever. I probably would have just let it ride. But my husband and mother-in-law made an executive decision. They were like, let's go. We'll get something to eat. And then we'll go back into the city, go to the hospital, and we're not leaving the hospital. So basically that's what we did. We stopped and got some small bites. I was having more intense contractions, even sitting there. And then we get into the hospital, triage, get checked again. I was about 5 centimeters at that point. I was like, all right, cool. We're progressing. Awesome. I don't know what time we got to the hospital, probably like 6 something. And then, they hook you up to, you have to lay in the bed, which I don't love. It's not super comfortable, but they put the baby monitor and they like to watch the baby for like 20, 30 minutes, make sure they're responding well to the contractions, make sure she's doing good. All my numbers were still really good. And then we finally they transfer us into the labor and delivery room. It's probably around 8:30 p.m. And I was definitely like getting into some serious, intense contractions at that point. I'm still able to talk and laugh in between during the quote unquote rest period. So I got on my knees on the wooden floor, got the birthing ball, and just started rolling out every time a contraction would come. I couldn't talk through them, but I could breathe through them pretty good still. So I knew I wasn't around 8 or 9 centimeters yet. But then this baby's funny. Why I love a medicated labor part is I can move around. I can do what feels good to my body. I can squat. I can bend over. I can get on my all fours if I want. So I was just trying different positions. And then my midwife came in. She happened to be on call this time. So she wasn't able to catch my first 2 babies, but she was on call. So stoked on that. She came in, wanted to check me. I think I was at 9 centimeters at this point. And I was like, oh yeah, like we're getting there, right? You get stoked when you hear that. And she asked me if I wanted her to break my waters, because with my first 2, my waters didn't like really break on their own. With my first, the water didn't break till baby was coming out. And then with Frankie, my water broke when she went to check me at one point. So then it broke after whatever. And so I was like, yeah, why don't you can break my waters if you want. And then she said she went in and they broke really easily. So that means it was ready to break on its own. But let me tell you what, when your water breaks during labor, means game time is coming. It's about to get intense. It's about to get wild. And so I was ready for it mentally. I was like, all right, we're at 9 centimeters already. Water's broke. She's coming real soon. Well, I'll tell you what. I was at 9 centimeters. I think it's probably like an hour, which is a really long time to have really serious, wild contractions. So I tried. Oh, oh, hello. Yes, you. You were coming. So my midwife had me lay on my left side. Hold on. We'll just do this while she eats again. We're in the cluster feeding stage. Baby girl is hungry. So my midwife had me lay on my left side with a peanut ball just to try to see if we could get Gia to descend a little bit further down. And it did something because it was wildly uncomfortable. I could feel super pressure. It wasn't the ring of fire yet, but definitely getting closer. But it was so uncomfortable. No, wait. Before that, we tried the squat bar. So they brought over like a bar to go across the bed so I could hang on to it and sit in a squat position. And I did that for probably 6, 7 contractions. And it did feel good at first. And I would just like sit back until another contraction came. And then I would pull up into a squat position during a contraction to see if we can get her down. And then my midwife was like, all right, let's lay on your left side with the peanut ball. We did that. And that's when I felt like like a lot more pressure. And at one point, like I could feel her head, like something changed. And I flipped right back onto my hands and knees with my arms over the bed. And I just knew I needed to start pushing. Like whatever that left side situation did, I felt it turn right back around. And I knew like when the next contraction came, I was just going to start pushing. And that's what I did. You make some wild, I think, right? You're in La La Land, but wild noises when this is all happening. So I apologize to any of the other mamas in my vicinity that could potentially hear me if I was disrupting your Zen period, because I was not in a Zen state. I was in it to win it, and I was just pushing. I was about to rip the mattress off this bed, and in 2 pushes, baby girl was out, and I flipped right over. I'm sorry to the nurses and my midwife because they probably had to maneuver the umbilical cord because I just flipped my whole 5'10" body back onto my back so I could get my baby to my chest. And there she was. So intense, people. Like, wild. That 1 hour at 9 centimeters almost did me in. I was asking for help. I was like, I don't know that I could do this. And I don't say those things lightly. So, but I know from listening to positive birth stories that at that point, they call that the transition point. So at the point where you think you cannot do it, you are literally almost there. So, but at the time, it's harder to convince yourself of that because it's so intense. But you just have to hang on a little bit longer, and then your baby's going to be entered into this world, and it is incredible. You can feel the adrenaline from your little toe all the way up to your eyebrows, and your body is shaking. Everything is pumping. You get more energy, even though my usual bedtime is around 8:30. So having a baby at 11:57 was wild. You think I'd be supremely exhausted. And I was. I felt like I was so sweaty. You work so hard. And then, but anyway, so they let the baby stay with you for an hour before they would like take her and weigh her and make sure all her vitals and everything are good. Obviously, they see that she's good, right? She's breathing. And all 3 of my babies, it is this innate natural instinct. They basically latch onto your boob within 1.2 seconds. I've had no issues with breastfeeding or latching. My kids just latch right on, which is such like a great feeling that your kid can start eating right away. And then we let the umbilical cord stop pulsing before my husband cuts it. And then there we are. And then after an hour, they pick the baby up. They take her over to the warming table with my husband and weigh her. She was 8 pounds, 7 ounces. 20, just shy of 22 inches long, almost exactly the same as my firstborn. She was 8'8", 22 inches, but 2 weeks late. Um, just incredible. And before they transfer you up into like your postpartum room, they like to make sure you can empty your bladder first. And it is a wild feeling standing up from that bed to walk to the bathroom when you've had this life inside of you for 10 months and maybe it's 20, 30 pounds, whatever. Then you stand up and then it's like nothing there, right? It feels so odd and so different. But then you look over and you see your baby and you just like are so happy and so proud of yourself. Like it is the most wild experience. And then you walk to the bathroom and you have this other woman help you pee. Like these nurses, I tell you, are just like angels on earth, you know, helping life enter the world and then take care of us moms, like show us how to pee basically, make sure we squirt the water on our hoo-has so it doesn't burn, and then they show you how to put together your pad sickle to help your vagina feel better. Like it's just incredible. They're cleaning up after you. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then they wheel you up to your postpartum room, and there another set of nurses just take care of you and your baby like every hour for that first night. Like it's just a wild experience. I don't like to put my baby down when I'm in there. I just hold them. I don't care if it means I don't sleep. I'll sleep later. I just like to hold my babies, make sure they're with me and safe and breathing and eating. And so she was born on the 4th of July at 11:57 p.m. And we stayed that whole Saturday, and then we went home Sunday, and it was good. I have my husband come home so he can be with the kids and sleep in his own bed. Because if you know anything about those chairs in the hospital rooms, like my husband's not going to sleep in there. So if one of us can sleep, that's better than none of us sleeping, because we got other babies to take care of. I felt good. You know, that's one of the reasons. So there's obviously two main reasons I wanted to try to go unmedicated with all three of my births. One, for my baby's health, first and foremost, but also for mine. So for the benefits for baby, what they say are less respiratory issues for the baby. They say it's really healthy for the baby to go through the vaginal canal. And so they have less chance of respiratory issues and asthma. A baby's more alert because they haven't been through any medical interventions, and mama hasn't gotten any pain medicines and stuff like that. And also they have better latching and breastfeeding success because they are more alert. So those are things for baby. For mom, it's pain management skills, faster recovery typically. It's day 5 and I'm feeling great already. Obviously I'm still a little sore down below, but like not anything crazy. Pain management, and the sense of like the ease that knowing that your baby is feeding properly, shorter labor times, and less likelihood of going through those medical interventions, the inductions and stuff like that. So just doing what our bodies are made to do. And so thank you so much for being here, for listening to our story. My hope with this, oops, I just wanted to get her head out. She was done anyway. My hope with this story is to just give another mom, or however many moms another positive birth story, because I know they were so helpful for me, especially going into my first unmedicated labor, just to let me know that we are made for this. Your bodies were made for this. And there's other women that have been through similar stories. Every birth is different. Your experience is going to be slightly different than mine. But just know that there's a sea of moms that are in your corner, that think you can do it, think you are strong, and hope you just have the best labor and delivery story that you can for yourself, whatever you want that to be and look like. So reach out if you guys have any questions at all. I'm an open book. No question is odd for me. You can ask me anything, and I hope you have a great day.